Hi, I'm Akiko Sudano from StampinInTheMeadows.com in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Today I'm making a fall floral note card with one of my favorites, the Daisy Lane stamp set. I love this set for spring or summer cards when gardens are in bloom, but I want to show you how you can incorporate the pretty 3D daisy into a fall card by using fall colors and complementing it with fall themes such as plaids and leaves. I start by using my Stamparatus to stamp the birch stamp set on a long bumblebee panel using early espresso ink. This is pretty, but I want to add more texture to the panel. So I emboss it with the Tasteful Textile 3D embossing folder. After embossing, the cardstock becomes a little limp, so I adhere it to an early espresso mat. I start assembling my card base by taking a panel of a pretty plaid paper from the Plaid Tidings Designer Series paper pack and adhering it to the front of an early espresso card base with liquid glue. Then I adhere the layer birch panel on top with dimensionals. I love these sketches where the panel underneath sticks out the sides. Now I'm going to stamp 3 of the small daisy petal clusters in bumblebee ink on bumblebee cardstock. After stamping, I pull out my sponge daubers to add Cajun Craze and pumpkin pie inks to the flowers. This picks up the pumpkin pie and the plaid. I sponge the flower centers first with Cajun Craze ink. Then I switch to pumpkin pie ink and go to the outer edges, leaving the tips alone. Don't worry about being precise. Each petal will be unique, and that adds to the beauty of the flower. Next, I'll punch out the flowers with a medium daisy punch and gently curl the petals with my bone folder. That coloring really makes a difference once they're punched out. The top cluster will have the petals curled down. The middle cluster will alternate up and down, and the bottom cluster will be curled up. Curling the petals gives the flower movement and dimension, and it's much more interesting than a plain flat flower. I'll adhere the clusters together with the dot of liquid glue. It's pretty, but it's not quite finished. I'll finish the flower with a gold foil center cut from the poinsettia dies. There we go. What do you think? Now I'm adding the elements to the card front with liquid glue. I decided the card needed more gold than my sample, so I'm starting with this gold berry sprig from the Forever Gold laser cut specialty paper. Then I'll add the leaves. The leaves are from the gathered leaves dies. I start with the large Cajun Craze maple leaf. Then I cut this little one in pear pizzazz that I will tuck under the corner. Bring my flower over to check the placement and finish off with the middle-sized leaf in pumpkin pie for the other side. Now I'll pop my flower on in the middle with dimensionals and press. Add this pretty gold bow with a glue dot. I use early espresso ink to stamp my sentiment on this thin strip of pumpkin pie cardstock. Trim the ends on a slight angle. Adhere it to an early espresso mat. And pop it on the card front with dimensionals. Add 3 gold gems to the front, and our card is finished. Now it's time for finishing the inside. I skipped the sentiment so there's plenty of room for writing, but I have a strip of bumblebee cardstock that I've stamped with a birch stamp and embossed just like the front panel. I'll adhere this to the bottom and adhere another pumpkin pie leaf to the top corner. And that's my finished card, a Stampin' Up! Daisy Lane card for the fall. It's your time to shine. I have a link to my blog post in the description where you can find all the sizes of cardstock and links to the products I used. Thank you for watching.